What's up, ladies and gents? It is Saturday night. It is 10 o'clock on the East Coast, 7 o'clock on the West Coast, and it's Saturday night. So you know what that means? It's time for another After Dark Takeover episode. As you can see at the bottom, this After Dark Takeover is being taken over by a member of Korruption. Let's go around the circle and then we'll introduce the special guest call-up. The Mandalorians to my right are always here. Nikki, Devin, this is the way.
This is the way.
Yeah.
How we doing
tonight,
guys?
So I'm ready for the Korruption tonight. I love Korruption. I made this for Ken Knapsack back when he was with Korruption, and then that draft happened, and now I can't give it to him. So I wear it now. Yay, Korruption.
Hashtag spoilers. Ken Knapsack's not a member of Korruption anymore. Oh, wait. I'm sure people know that. Then down below me is my right hand in this crazy project we've developed, Mr. Matt Beer. Matt, what's going on?
Nothing much. A little upset that the governor of Indiana decided to pull theaters being opened another few weeks. Was planning on seeing the Goonies tonight, or not tonight, but last night. Couldn't do that anymore. So I was a little disappointed, but outside of that, doing good.
Right on. And we have a new man on the panel tonight, Mr. A-Rod. Aaron, how's it going? Welcome to After Dark.
Thank you for having me. This is really exciting. This is really cool. And I'm here with a special guest, so let's just get it going.
All righty. Yeah, that man, he is a fan league call-up, and he was the last free agent drafted to Korruption, Mr. Adam Collins. Adam, thank you for joining us. Welcome to After Dark. How are we doing tonight?
Hi, Matt. Thanks for having me. I'm doing well. Excited to carve out a little bit of time to talk Schmodown. And, just happy to make all your acquaintances tonight.
Nice because I've never officially met you face-to-face until tonight. I mean, yeah, we've talked online, but, this is the first time I've actually got to talk face-to-face to you. I don't know about these other guys. It's really cool to have you here.
Cool to be here.
So I gave you two questions that the little guy always wants answered. So we'll just go with the easy Star Wars one. Are porks friends or food?
Speaking personally, I treat them as friends. I would identify with Chewbacca's inclination to cook them up if it were his only option. But as we know, there's spate and channel fish. There's talasirens. There's a lot of different animals on Octo to, potentially get some nutrition from. So you don't necessarily have to eat porks.
Well, in our case, yeah, wow. In our case, we all agree they're friends unless Chewbacca's over, then they're food. But,
We got one more.
And then Little Warrior's second question, who's, obviously sitting next to me, is what's one thing about you that most people don't know, or fans of Schmodown overall don't know about you?
Well, I don't know that this is particularly juicy to share, but I have a reputation in the fan leagues for kind of liking experimental auteur filmmakers, stuff that might be a little bit more off the beaten path. But my favorite mainstream show that I grew up loving was Boy Meets World. And it's not something I talk a lot about, but I was trying to get a Full Metal random match for Boy Meets World going at one point because my knowledge runs pretty deep on all 7 seasons of that show. And I even wrote a series of Boy Meets World cast member related questions for a featured presentation match because I felt so compelled by my fandom of that show. So
And the star of Jurassic World has joined us, Alan.
Well,
Sorry to
don't
interrupt
think
you there, Adam. Continue.
don't think I'd say star. Aloha. Nice to see you. Nice to be here, guys.
good to see you, Alan. So I own all 7 seasons on DVD. I treasure them and rewatch that show pretty much every year. And I think it holds up pretty well. I think it's pretty cleverly written and still one of the most underrated shows of the 90s. And if you track where all those cast members went, they do some pretty interesting stuff.
Absolutely. I actually grew up watching that too. I I was a '90s kid, so absolutely. Anybody want to jump in on their first question? We'll just kind of throw it out. I know Mr. Spaceman always has 20 questions, so
I feel like you have a vast knowledge of Star Wars. Like, you know the animals on Ahch-To. That I want to know more. Just say more Star Wars things. I want to know what you know. Like, I know all these things, but I want to know what you know.
Well, I can't get too deep into it, but what I'll tell you is I fought pretty hard to get my my shot at playing in a Star Wars match in the movie Trivia Face Off. And you have to take my word for it, but it was a great match. The reason I say that is it was sadly lost. It was wiped from the hard drive of the editor in a freak accident. Yeah, but it was a high-scoring match. I won the match, something I was really proud of, and I only missed one question in the entire match, so it was a really good time. Now, I'm not at my faction mate's level, Laura Kelly. She is truly the machine that she appears to be, but she gives me a lot of inspiration. I'm hoping to at least maybe get to, at least the same stratosphere as her someday.
Okay, speaking of Star Wars, would you ever, if you had the opportunity to play in the Star Wars League, would you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's all a matter of time. I think everyone who's in this tournament deserves it. I'm a rookie. My time will come when it's right. But when there's a time for me to prove myself in Star Wars, I am so down.
Awesome. Are you with all the animated series, up to date with all that?
With the exception of Resistance, yes.
Resistance sucks. Don't watch it.
Yeah. Clone Wars. I finished the most recent season finally. I had to take a break from movies for a couple days. Yeah, really enjoyed that, especially the last 4 episodes.
Yeah, the last 4 were like. Oof.
The first 8 were good, but they felt like they were like part of any random season, and that's fine. But those last 4 were a movie, and that was great.
That's a movie, yeah.
Well, I wasn't too big on the 4 episodes where it was just Ahsoka and
the Rihanna twins.
Yeah, I wasn't too big on that. I mean, maybe if it was like in season 3 or 4, that'd be one thing. But this was the final season. If we're gonna be, in the last season, I would prefer to focus on other things other than just. It felt.
I understand.
It felt unnecessary.
Bad Batch 4 years ago.
Yeah, like I like the Bad Batch stuff. I
like they released that years ago and added a few more scenes though.
Right, but
honestly, I found all those first 8 episodes again. They were fine. I was not offended by them. But the last 4 were they were a completely different level of storytelling, and just the absence of the narrator and the seriousness of the tone. It was all great. And Revenge of the Sith, like many fans, is my favorite prequel. And I just love the way it tied into that without spoiling anything. Yeah.
Okay. Wait. If we're going to get into there, hold on. I always got to do this. Okay, now we can openly talk.
Darth Maul, everybody, God.
Darth Maul.
We'll get to
that. The fact that they brought Ray Park back.
66 was in this season.
Yeah, it was all really satisfying to get to that. And to be honest, my strategy with this season, because I'm a Clone Wars fan, I know that there can be filler episodes. So I purposefully waited until it was over, and I binged it in a few days, and that was the way to go for me. If I'd had to wait week to week, those first 8 episodes would have been even harder.
Yeah, and I agree too. I didn't watch all of Clone Wars. I have to admit, I've missed a few seasons where him and I are going to go back and rewatch them. But those last 4 episodes, Nikki, for a week before we did our May the 4th stream, yelled at us and just got in everybody's face to get it watched, because we actually had Paul Preston join us for a while that night.
Yeah, he came and was.
And then that Saturday, Adam Witt came over and did it just after they released their commentary.
Yeah, they have a great sports commentary on Star Wars: A New Hope. It's like them doing a sports commentary.
Oh, that's great.
Like it's play by play. But
Paul and Adam are hilarious.
Ray Park, you could definitely tell that was Ray Park doing the mocap. Yeah. Like it was amazing.
Yeah. One of the best duels we've seen in a while. Very satisfying. And I just think the reason I have faith in this whole potential Boba Fett arc and the Mandalorian. Again, are we doing spoilers? It hasn't come out yet. But it's
He's
just,
doing it.
I have complete faith in Filoni because he resurrected Maul in such a classy way that has a legacy now. So yeah, I'm on board. If they want to take a stab at Boba Fett, I trust Filoni now.
Yeah, I mean, I trust Filoni too. However, just assuming all this is true with all the Clone Wars, references, like with Ahsoka being in it apparently, and Bo-Katan and all these characters, I don't think this is going to happen, but I'm a little worried that it's going to be a little overkill with the Clone Wars, because what I thought made The Mandalorian as good as it was, it was, the small, space adventure. It wasn't this big grand thing. It was just, it was a smaller, story, and I thought that would be great for it. So I don't, like I said, I trust Filoni. I don't think he's going to just go overkill with it, but I do have that fear that maybe it's going to be too much. But I mean, once again, and also Favreau, he's a genius when it comes to.
And he's what balances it out. I think I think
definitely.
He's gonna be able to kind of guide the ship and make sure that that it's not too much too fast. I think if you tease all these characters and then maybe spin-offs, whatever, do what you want to do. But we'll see what happens. I'm excited.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh, go ahead if you want to talk. Yeah,
no, Aaron, go ahead, Aaron.
I was going to say, on your comment about Favreau, I think what made that show so great is you had a really good mix of someone like Favreau, who is not only a good filmmaker, but very experienced with big budget action films and that long form storytelling with working within the MCU, mixed with someone like Filoni, who can pull out the real deep Star Wars knowledge and wants to go into that type of thing. And so I think having them oversee it made a good mix. But what I was going to ask quickly, and I guess just go around to everyone, if he's only playing one character in season 2 of Mandalorian, who would you rather have Tamara Morrison play, an older Boba Fett or an older Rex?
Devin, what do you think?
I would say Rex. I feel like it makes more sense, especially assuming Ahsoka's going to be in it. Plus with Boba Fett, I mean, I like Boba Fett, but he never really was a character that was super interesting. He just was that really cool character. Yeah, it'd be cool to kind of delve deep more into him. But I do love me some Captain Rex, and it does feel like it would fit more, especially with Ahsoka and whatnot. But I
think having him Rex as well would be more interesting, especially even if they did something with the not necessarily being Boba Fett. Because the thing I liked about Mandalorian is we've got this rich history, but we're creating new characters, and so you could have the mythos of Boba Fett, if you will, because there's been 2 different camps and schools of what Boba Fett is. Is it just this kind of mythical character that people like the Dread Pirate Roberts example from Princess Bride is somebody else takes up the mantle, and there's our helmets. I think the Rex thing would be more interesting, and to kind of mirror what you said, Matt, I don't want them to do too much of what they've already told those stories in the animated series. Bring in some of it, but not way too heavy on that. Adam, did you get a chance to watch the Gallery series on Disney Plus, the behind the scenes stuff?
Not yet. I'm letting that. Is that releasing week to week? Because because I wanted to let that build up too. That's kind of what I do with Disney Plus, with the exception of the Mandalorian itself, which I couldn't wait for. Just kind of let them build up, and then I just knock them out in a couple days. Because to be honest, I have to watch movies so often. I have to keep it up so regularly that like taking a break for a show has to be very strategic. So like I like to just get a show knocked out as fast as possible so I can get back to watching movies. I know that's OCD, but it's what I have to do.
You got to do what you got to do because you got to watch so much content. You got to manage it. That's important. It's interesting because I've only watched the first couple, but the director's one is really fascinating to see all of these unique storytellers being combined together to tell the same story, which is what the sequel trilogy did not have. And you could tell from that that they didn't have that cohesive, all these storytellers telling one story. So it was pretty fascinating to see, and I'm glad that they're continuing that with this season too.
Yeah, it looks very promising. With the Tamara Morrison thing, I agree that Rex would fit in very naturally, and I think that you could do a lot with that character. I also think there's less writing on that character, which is why the Boba Fett thing excites me, only because it's Filoni. If there's one guy I trust to nail that, it's him. And it's so overhyped now. There's such this focus on Boba Fett that there's like this whole backlash against the character now in terms of popularity, that I would like to see him rise to the challenge of making it interesting and unique. And if they could integrate the stuff from the Aftermath books with Cobb Vanth, I think that would be cool too, because that would be cool. Right? Pirate Roberts thing.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And see, with Boba Fett, they could even just have somebody in the suit. You really don't need,
Yeah.
Like if you look at Mando this season, we saw his face twice in the whole show. So, you could have somebody in the suit. That's what I think's cool about it being Rex, is you could have both of them, but with Rex, you can really build off of, maybe have it, because we know it's post, episode. It's it's in between, so we can actually see what happens to him after. Even if he's like on a planet, just kind of hiding out, for lack of better terms,
hunting space worms.
Well, if the rumors are true, though, Boba Fett's not going to be in the suit at first. It's going to be Timothy Oliphant. I think, because he got casted to play.
That's the rumor. Yeah, is that?
Yeah, he got casted. Yeah. I can't remember the character's name, but it's
Deadwood
Timothy Oliphant.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know it's Timothy Oliphant, but he's playing another sheriff.
There's speculation that he might be this Cobb Vanth guy from the book.
Yeah,
it would be a really cool tie-in. That'd be cool too if they did the mocap. But I gotta say, the other thing that interests me with the Boba Fett angle, whether it's him or not, I want to see what the legacy of Boba and Jango's armor means to Mandalorians, because they usurped that armor. That's not there. Yeah. But then we also have seen that Mando himself, earn that armor. So I'd like to see what that means to him if he has to confront like Boba Fett in some capacity and be like, how dare you have, masqueraded as one of us for so many years.
Right.
Could be.
I think it's a retcon of a retcon, ultimately.
Yeah.
Like they retconned it and Clone Wars said, no, Jango Fett was not a Mandalorian. And then like some people after that were like, yeah, but everybody sees Boba Fett and they hear the name Mandalorian. They think, if people don't know, like, so Mandalorian, that's Boba Fett, right? Like I've had people say that, and I answer like, more or less, yeah. Because
it kind of is. I mean,
like this is the way. We don't see him take his helmet off at all during the original trilogy.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm excited to see where it goes. I think enough stuff has been leaked now. I'm good. I want to just let it go.
Yeah, just watch it.
Yeah. As a huge wrestling fan, it kind of piques my curiosity even more to find out that WWE wrestler Sasha Banks is going to be in it, and it's rumored that she's going to have a multiple episode arc. So it's kind of curious about that too.
Wow. So is she like this year's Gina Carano, basically bringing in someone who's not like a full traditional?
But Gina Carano is supposed to be back this season as well.
No, she's going to be in there a lot.
Yeah, well, he's saying
she was good in the first season, so
I loved her.
I know what he's saying, but okay. What else do we want to know, gents?
There was a pause.
Go
ahead, Matt.
And I feel like this is kind of the best opportunity to ask because you haven't played the match yet. But to you, when you heard you were going to be brought into the Schmodown, what was going through your mind as far as like emotions? Just kind of take us through kind of your thought process on that, and then also what do you expect to feel when you actually go out and play your first match?
It took me by surprise to be. I was contacted by Christian one-on-one, and I was completely taken by surprise. Like a lot of us who play in the fan leagues, yeah, I had hopes of maybe getting a shot, but I didn't expect it to come so soon. Now, I haven't been actively advertising myself to people, but Shannon has said as much in her interviews since I've been drafted. I took the initiative to reach out to her when I started getting involved in the fan leagues, and I just wanted to let her know, hey, I'm playing. Keep an eye on my resume. I'm building up some wins, and if you like what you see and there's an opening, let me know. And then this free agency happened, and Christian, as far as I'm aware, just found out about me through just talking to people who know the fan leagues well. I initially thought maybe Shannon had mentioned me, but she hadn't. So this was Christian on his own finding out. And then, he kind of vetted me. And then Shannon was the first one to reach out once it was official that I was on the free agency list. So when Christian contacted me, like I said, when I was on the show, I just double checked that it was really him. And then when I verified that, I was like, yeah, what do I need to do? And he said, just people are going to be reaching out to you, and consider all your options and try it. Feel free to wait to make your decision until Monday on the air if you have to. So Shannon reached out to me, and we were able to, really start having a substantial conversation about what my goals are if I were to come to the Schmodown. And then Winston reached out to me after that, and I had a good conversation with him. In all fairness, I'd pretty much already made up my mind. The reason Korruption appealed to me is Mike and Chance, I think, are really battle-hardened players. And I think they've seen all ends of the game, and I knew I'd benefit from their experience. And I am a hardcore Mark Hoyk fan. I watch Beat the Geeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Beat the Geeks actually got me hooked on movie trivia. I'm not exaggerating by saying that, because I would play along, watching that show. So getting a chance to hopefully, maybe not, he already has a teammate, but work with Mark in some capacity, I'd be excited. So I made up my mind pretty much, but I told Winston, I said, I don't want to come under false pretenses here and say that I'm considering joining you guys. I pretty much made up my mind, but I'd love to talk. And he's like, yeah, just consider it like an icebreaker for the league. And we had a great conversation, and he was very understanding. But I didn't reach out to any other managers after that because I didn't want to spin their wheels or anything,
Right. Nice.
So that's, I'm happy to answer more questions about, but that's kind of like the long and short of what happened. And then when Shannon confirmed that she wanted to bring me on, the other thing that made me happy about it is they only had one slot in Korruption, not four unusual suspects. And the fact that she was willing to give me the benefit of the doubt, she'd watched my game tape, so she knew I knew some stuff. But it's still different in the Schmodown. Even though the fan leagues have a reputation for having some questions that can be harder traditionally, playing in the studio when you're a hardcore fan, it's going to be a part of the game. It's going to affect you no matter who you are. So I'm definitely taking that into consideration.
Okay. And then I guess since you said you were pretty much convinced that you were going to join Korruption, what would any other faction have to do to kind of change your mind and make you choose them instead?
Honestly, it would have taken a really aggressive pitch. Someone would have had to, obsessively watch my matches, I guess, and come to me with this really specific idea of what they wanted to do with me in the Schmodown. But I'm a realist. I know this is a big opportunity. I know that I will be able to step up when they give me my chance. I'm not worried about that. I will not let them down. But beyond that, I also know that, when you go get drafted to the Schmodown, you got to pay your dues. You got to wait. And I honestly don't know when my first match will be, but I am patient. And I've actually found I've been able to get involved with Korruption early on. Just by helping out with the studying and stuff like that. And that's been a great way to get to know everybody and help out. So it's been really rewarding.
Any interest in playing in teams?
Absolutely. I'd love to play in teams. If they shake things up, I would love a chance to play with Mark. But, Marisol is yet to have her first match. She's a solid player. So, I would be the first one to say she needs to get her singles debut before me. But if there's a chance to play in teams before the end of the year, I'd be lucky to play with her. But we'll see how the faction shakes out, a lot is going to happen before the end of the year. We don't know what with COVID and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. If you could play with any one present or past player, who would it be? Anybody. It doesn't matter if they're in a different faction, retired, what have you. Who would it be?
I mean, honestly, like I really do want to play with Mark. I really do. If he's partnered with Elliot for now, and I'm going to respect that. But if there's ever a chance, I think he and I could complement each other's knowledge base well. But a similar player from a similar background who I admire very greatly is William Bibiani. So, yeah, Bibbs. I would definitely play with Bibbs if we ever had a chance to play an exhibition. But I got to prove myself first,
Well, yeah. This is just a what if kind of question.
For sure. Just trying to respect the legacy of Mr. William.
Absolutely.
And I would have picked Korruption too. Like, I mean, it's one of those things where it's the name recognition for me, like the brand recognition. Mike the Killer, like at the front of that ship. Like I really liked Korruption before when it was Ken and Grace, and like I thought they were cool back then. And since the draft, I mean, I still like Korruption because I mean Mike and Shannon, they're just kind of a force to be reckoned with in this league.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to like the factions, like that's a known faction that's been there for a while. It's not like nothing against Winston, because I like Winston too, but Swag's new, like Swag's unknown. But Korruption's gone back a while, like 2 years ago, like a year and a half ago at least.
Well, Shannon is also super dialed in. She is the real deal. And it's, there is a certain level of buy-in she has with Mike, but it goes way beyond that. I've seen it firsthand already. And she brings that X factor to a faction that, is a hard thing to pinpoint in a manager. But yeah, I've had a few people say, why would you pick them? Do you want to be a heel? And I think it's a sliding scale. I think there's a really solid anti-hero vibe going on with Korruption right now. And, I am not afraid to get my hands dirty and get a little sassy when the time comes. Right. But, Shannon sets the bar. And then you saw Laura rise to the occasion last week. She was awesome.
She was. Yeah, she was.
Gameplay and with the smack talk.
Yeah, she was excellent with both.
Away from character, they're both genuine sweethearts too, which is great. The kid and I met both of them actually at Spectacular. Caleb and I actually sat next to Laura's sister in the audience.
Awesome.
And we got to know her and Shannon really well. Like, we have pictures with them, and she's just a total sweetheart. So I could understand coming into the league. You'd want somebody to join you,
Two can play at that game, man. You gave me way too much power. You really think that I can't do that back to you, man? We are equals here. We are co-captains now.
I have another question though. And this is kind of more of the what if, you never know could happen type thing, but kind of going along with what okay. I didn't know if that was you or not you. Hi
Kevin.
Going with
hey, what's up, Adam? I'm waiting my turn. I'm trying to be patient.
But going kind of similar to the whole, who would you like to team with, past or present? It doesn't matter who, rather they're retired or not. Who's one person you think could be a fun match for you to play against? Regardless of if they're in the league right now, in your faction, or retired? Who do you? It doesn't have to be like, let's say John Roca, Dan Murrell, but maybe just somebody you think could make it a really good match to watch.
Well, just in terms of like it being a fun match and people I would like to mix it up with just to say I did it. The dark horse candidate is actually Whitney Seibold.
Okay.
So Whitney is someone I also respect a great deal as a critic, and I think he's one of the most underrated players in the Schmoedown. And I think playing him on the desk would just be a treat. And if he hit the category, and he is a pretty well-rounded player. I think people should give him some more credit. He's never going to do IG, obviously, but like if you're avoiding those kind of questions, the guy can be dangerous. So I would love to play him. And then just in terms of like legacy, well, she did just get drafted as a free agent again. So Perry.
Okay.
Oh wow!
That could be
There you
fun.
go.
I'm not going to call out any big dogs yet. Not to say, Perry and Whitney definitely have big dog status as critics and personalities. But we're Perry and I were both drafted at the same time. She obviously has game experience. I don't in the Schmoedown, but I respect Perry a lot too. And I think just playing a match with her would be fun.
Cool. Awesome.
Harry is just the best. I love Harry.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, so you talked about being in the faction, and you talked about how they very quickly ingrained you into the faction, which I think is really awesome to hear, that it's not like an act that people are saying on camera. Like it really is something where you guys are working together and getting to know each other. So I wanted to ask you real quickly about the standing of your team, because up until that Laura Kelly match, you guys were in last place. And I think that that's all people were kind of talking about, was just the fact that you were last. But I think something that people are missing, and what I want to ask you about, is how likely do you rank your chances of being able to skip up to the top? Because Laura has more than proven herself, to put it lightly, capable in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the IG tournament that's starting this week, you have Mike, who, again, is one of the tried and true best. And you have Chance, who, even though he lost his first match, didn't lose it lightly. Like, it was a multi-person match, and I believe he came in second out of the people on the table. So it's not like he, lost in a beatdown fight. He put up the fight for it. And so with this right now being the only way for people to earn points, and with you guys earning the extra points off of these being the geek categories, if everyone can go on runs for lack of a better term, it could really put you up there. So what do you think your chances are of that?
Well, I saw the strategy and what Shannon was doing a couple of months ago as these, like everyone's talking about them being at the bottom of the pack. And that was another reason, honestly, I found it appealing. I saw that they were on the cusp of doing some big things in this tournament because of the level of talent they were putting into the tournament. And, I saw a chance to, join, a faction success story. And I'm hoping to play some small part in it before the end of the year if I get my chance. But in the meantime, I wanted to hit the ground running. And so I was very upfront with Shannon, just told her, look, I do a lot of question writing in the fan leagues. I have. And aggressive studier, my former teammate Brandon Dunlap can vouch for that. I put him through many a session, and I wanted to bring that to my faction. I wanted to bring that energy and that motivation to my faction. And I can't get into major details about it, but what I can tell you is I was welcomed with open arms to bring that enthusiasm, and it's we're meshing quite well. And I'm very, very excited about it. And in the meantime, I just want to help my teammates who are in the trenches now be as successful as they can be. And Laura was very kind to even mention that I'd been part of the study sessions in her post-game interview, but it was an honor to even be a part of it. They're a good bunch of folks, and but they're also cutthroat players. So I think I stand to benefit from their experience a lot.
I want to know what Han Solo would say. Han, what would you say?
Great 10. Don't get cocky.
You're not cocky at all. I just
he always wants to play that.
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
So Kevin, you've been waiting a long time.
Yeah, you've been waiting for a while, Kevin.
yeah.
Let's talk to David Lynch.
Yeah. So Adam, what I wanted to ask, man, is I know in our match that we had in the fan leagues, the tournament match that you guys beat us, you put David Lynch on the wheel, obviously, and I know that you were famous for putting kind of niche directors like Lynch and Jim Jarmusch on the wheel. Is that something that you're going to carry over to Schmoedown, or is it? I mean, I don't want you to show your hand too much here, but is that something you plan to do?
Well, I'm hoping to join a small chorus that's already started, because I know Bibbs and Video Drew are all about getting a Lynch slice. Yep. They've mentioned Whitney is also a Lynch slice advocate. So I'm hoping to join that crew and try and raise awareness. But that's my intent. I haven't even talked to them yet about that. But I would love to get Lynch on the wheel. I think everyone should be more familiar with his work. And honestly, he's not that obscure. He's a pretty mainstream director in terms of legacy. He's 3-time Oscar nominated. And he's made some, more traditional stuff too, like The Elephant Man and The Straight Story. So I think getting more auteur directors on there like Lynch is a good idea, because we already have Kubrick, we have Nolan, we have Spike Lee, which I think is awesome. So we need to get more directors on there, period. I think it's PTA is one of the most popular slices this year, and Coen Brothers. I just think you're going to get more enthusiasm and buy-in from players the more of those you add. I think Jim Jarmusch would be a stretch. I'm not expecting him on the wheel anytime soon. No. Or Werner Herzog, who's another personal hero of mine.
I want to see the baby.
Yes. The thing is, okay, I just got to so when I heard that the Mandalorian cast Werner Herzog, Carl Weathers, Giancarlo Esposito.
Yep.
What is happening? I love all those guys, but they're like from all different things. So Werner, I say it with the hard W because I'm used to it, but Werner's correct too. But he just delivered, man. He was awesome. There needs to be a hot toy of his character, and
I've been waiting for the Black Series toy of him. We gotta have it.
I want to see the baby.
Yeah. We've got to have it.
So David Lynch is a great actor too. He's on screen in Twin Peaks. The Return of Twin Peaks on Showtime from 2017 is a masterpiece.
Thank you.
Yes. Should have won all the Emmys.
It should have won everything. It was absolutely brilliant. The last episode is one of the best pieces of filmmaking I've ever seen. I absolutely worship it. I love it.
I'm glad to hear that, Alan.
It's absolutely incredible. And Sheryl Lee in that movie, in that episode especially, was brilliant. Was absolutely brilliant. The last scene when they approach the house and that whole thing. Oh my God! I've watched it probably 10 to 15 times, just because it perfectly wrapped up not only what Lynch wanted to do with the aspect of a hard look at reboots and returning and nostalgia and going back and what harm it can do. And oh my God, it was just absolutely.
And the thing about David Lynch I love is he's super cerebral, but he's also one of the most unpretentious directors. Like, he is not condescend. He just makes what he makes, and you can interpret it any way you want. And
but it is what it is.
Yeah, and he's beyond his movies. He makes crazy music that's awesome. He's a great painter.
His art is absolutely his art is fantastic.
I want to see that now.
Yeah.
So we have a question. Sorry.
No, you're good. I could go on about David Lynch all night.
So we have a question coming in. How do you feel about the Tyler Perry slice? And I, for one, I support the Tyler Perry slice because Tyler Perry was in a Star Trek movie. So Tyler Perry all day.
Hey,
can we get all Gone Girl questions?
I am a firm believer that if it's a movie,
You should know.
Fair game.
It's game. Yep, it's fair game.
You know, we
For
all
category.
there's a lot of us who could stand to beef up on Tyler Perry movies, and there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
But there is so many. Like, if we have slices for Coen Brothers and Kubrick and all these other directors, you bet your ass we deserve to have Tyler Perry on there. That guy is prolific as hell.
And the content is crazy. The content is out there. He's got so many films.
I want to make a personal shout out. His first Netflix film came out earlier this year, and about like an hour and a half in, 2 hours in, this thing takes a crazy twist at the end.
Yes, it does.
And it's like,
I love he
dark?
plays with
Is it a dark
genres too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I like it when he goes dark. I think he's a better dramatic actor than he is a comedic actor, which is
For
what I
sure.
think about Robin Williams. But I respect the strategy as far as like picking David Lynch as a slice goes. You said you don't want to like might not show your hand. I'll show my hand just in the family because I'm just here to have fun. Whenever I do a match like my slice, I'll pick Star Trek because I love Star Trek. I know everything, almost everything that happens in those movies. Sometimes they'll get like an isolinear chip like reference. And
I was watching Undiscovered Country before I came to the show tonight.
People rag on Undiscovered Country and on The Final Frontier. I think the only one of the Star Trek movies that is bad is the first one. Like, that is the only Star Trek movie I don't like just because of the voice of the robot. But that's what I always do with strategies because I know a lot about Star Trek, but not a lot of people do. So if other people get the question and they miss, I can steal it. So if you were going up against with David Lynch, you pick David Lynch. I get that category. I'm screwed because I'm getting those wrong and you're going to get those right.
Well, see, that was what happened was Adam put it on the wheel, and I'd never seen anything except for maybe one of his movies, so I had to go through and watch his whole. Not had to. I mean, it was a great experience to go through and watch everything from Eraserhead all the way to Inland Empire.
Kevin and I had a debate where I picked season 3.
Oh, yeah, that was a TV debate. Right.
And Kevin was pulling all kinds of, David Lynch is crazy and he abuses his actresses.
It hurt me to do that. Yeah,
but that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
That sounds like it's in the spirit of movie fights. Like, when you have to take your heels in for something that you don't really believe, but you just got to stick to your guns.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it was fun.
What's your favorite David Lynch movie?
I was gonna ask that.
It's hard to pick one specifically, but if I had to decide, because Twin Peaks: The Return doesn't count. It does in my mind, but if you're talking about theatrically released films, Blue Velvet, because awesome. I think Blue Velvet. It does a little bit of everything he does so well, and it doesn't get too mystical or larger than reality. It stays pretty grounded, but it's still uncomfortable the whole time. And it's also predecessor to Twin Peaks in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So I just think it's the best amalgamation of everything he's done. But I also think Wild at Heart is one of his most underrated movies.
That's probably my favorite. I think out of all of them. Yeah,
it is nuts.
It's fever.
Yeah,
it
really
dream.
is nuts.
It's a total fever dream. It's exciting. And it's great.
Watch that Raising Arizona back to back. It is a good Nicolas Cage.
It's a Nicolas Cage double hitter.
Yeah,
I love Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, I don't want to get like caught up in quoting, but I'll just give you one tease. One of the best things that Nick Cage's character does in that movie, first of all, his name is Sailor.
Yeah.
And he's obsessed with his snakeskin jacket. And every time someone messes
it's a symbol of my individuality.
Yeah, it's a symbol of my individuality.
Wait for it.
Yeah.
Okay, actually keep talking.
He's trying to find it.
Yeah, no, it's worth looking up. And for anyone who hasn't seen Wild at Heart, David Lynch decided at the last minute to just throw in a bunch of random Wizard of Oz stuff in it, but it really works.
Yeah, I noticed that. It was there were a lot of random Wizard of Oz like references.
And the whole everyone's really hard on Twin Peaks, like the first half of season 2.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
like the second season, people are hard on it, and I get it. Lynch stepped away, but he was making Wild at Heart that whole time, and then he came back and he finished the last few episodes, which are really awesome. And then we got the third season, several years later, so it was worth the wait.
Yeah, definitely. I'm one of the few that I absolutely love Firewalk with Me.
Firewalk with Me is fantastic.
I absolutely adore that film because it's talk about uncomfortable. It leads you into such places that you just cannot. And I think again, the ending. What I love about Lynch is I love the way he does endings, because a lot of directors have great beginnings and middles, but they don't wrap it up. And Lynch does. If whether you agree with it or not, whether it's where you thought it was going to go or not, you can't deny that he told that story and he ended that story, and that's what it is. Accept it or not. And I just think he's fantastic at that.
And to tie it back to Star Wars a little bit, a lot of people know that he was considered to direct Return of the Jedi, but what I think is interesting is there's this weird parallel between Lynch and George Lucas, starting from that period in time, but it came to a head in the early 2000s because George Lucas, he did the first digital film with Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
And then David Lynch upped the ante 3 years later. He made Inland Empire, which is real crappy digital video, but it works because the movie's so raw and sloppy and earnest and you go back and watch it, you're like, yeah, it's crappy digital video, but that's the point. And once you get through the first hour of that movie, you're on its wavelength. So I just love that he went even more punk rock.
The rabbits on TV, supposedly that has its own storyline and everything.
Yeah.
I've never broken down into it, but
you can go down a
literal
rabbit hole. Yeah.
On YouTube with
rabbits.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty fascinating.
It's awesome.
Well, I hope that slice comes to be.
Yeah, me too.
Fight for it.
We'll see what we can do. do.
Yeah.
He definitely has the best shot. I also think, speaking of David's, I think Cronenberg should be in the running for his own slice eventually too.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I definitely agree with that.
Thanks, baby. Did I ever tell you that this here jacket represents a symbol of my individuality and my belief?
50,000 times.
Oh,
only about.
God, Laura Dern. Oh my God.
Oh, she's a.
I'm gonna watch that movie tonight now.
I think I might too.
I'm watching that. I'm watching
Raise
that
your
tonight.
hand if you want a National Treasure 3.
She is a smoke show.
I don't
in that movie.
I don't not want National Treasure 3, I guess.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean,
Put your hand up. You know you want to see what kids can do.
Here's what I'll say for you. Here's what I'll say for you guys.
Oh,
in an era where the internet can now just get whatever it wants, apparently, you guys got the best shot ever.
That's true.
Nicholas Cage, get them to make National Treasure 3.
Can we talk about this? Why is the Snyder Cut happening? I just don't see the point in investing 30 plus million into a movie that already failed.
I need your support.
Apparently it's more.
That's what I'm saying, 30 plus.
It's not the Snyder Cut. It's a completely different movie. Entirely different movie.
I feel like
we've only seen 20% of the movie. It's beautiful. Zack Snyder was unjustly cut.
And we're never going to get the Justice League 2 and 3 from Zack Snyder, so there's no point. It's going to set up
it's just
never going to happen.
Yeah, especially because it comes out in 2021, a year in which they are doing a new Batman with a new director, new actor, and a new story. But yet you're going to backtrack and bring back Ben Affleck, who was
already within 3 universes. They've already made a sequel in that universe to Suicide Squad. They made Birds of Prey, and then they're making the Suicide Squad. And then and I don't mean to get hostile. I'm not hostile. I'm just very
no, you're not. Trust me. No.
That's the thing we were talking before you got on the air, maybe a little bit on the air, that I don't see why they can't have 10 different.
Okay, well, Matt voiced his opinion.
Because they have on TV, they have Titans, they have Batwoman, they have all these other shows where Batman exists out there. We just don't really see him. We see him on Titans, but we don't see we see Bruce Wayne. Anyway, I digress. But
now you'll barely see Batwoman, apparently.
Exactly, yeah. Different Batwoman, different woman. We'll talk about that later. But
oh god, Matt's gonna attack me now, isn't he?
No, actually, but I do have
a concurrent Batman universe is going on right now, though. We have the Ben Affleck universe, which is still happening with Suicide Squad, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, whatever you will. We have the second one, which is launching with Matt Reeves and Bob Pattinson is Batman. Thanks to and then the third one with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, because that's not going to cross over with that. That's a 65-year-old man fighting Batman. That's not going to happen. It's not going to be entertaining to watch that. I hope it happens, but I don't think it's going to. So we already have 3 Batman universes out there, and they're already continuing the Ben Affleck one. So to flip Ben Affleck back in there, I don't think it's that far-fetched.
And in Crisis on Infinite Earths, we did see both Flashes come face to face. We did see them.
But that Flash is apparently like bad now. Did he do something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think he kind of pushed somebody in a bar.
So we're never going to see
I
that.
don't know.
But
I
you can also look at it.
I have a DC contribution.
Oh, nice. What is that?
I rewatched Aquaman today.
Okay. It is one of the best. When it came out, I saw it in the theater 5 times because I love Aquaman unabashedly. Right here, even though she's crazy, Mara, that's my girl.
Oh, she's crazy.
Even though she's crazy, she's my girl. I love that movie because it set up a fun, exciting. The fight scenes of that movie were brilliantly staged. The action sequences were amazing. Black Manta looked fantastic. The visuals were absolutely beautiful most of the time. You've got Willem Dafoe being Willem Dafoe, just all kinds of crazy over the place. Jason Momoa, who I've met a few times. I know his dad. His dad lives right down the road.
Oh yeah,
I know.
That's what Batman judges you.
I know, but it's a fantastic film and fun. And going back to all these different universes, that kind of thing. That's we can look at it in this way, and the way I look at it, it's just the same way the comics were. Because in the comics, you've got especially with Batman, you had Dark Knight, you had Detective Comics, you had Batman, you had all these different things. Most of the time, the character was consistent, of course, but the way, depending on the artist who drew it, it would look a little different. So I look at all these different things as just the same kind of spirit of that. And as long as you're telling me a cool story, a good story that I can relate to, great. I don't care that Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is in a different universe than Aquaman. I got an awesome Joker movie and an awesome Aquaman movie, so I'm happy.
And
That's all I want.
I think it's also a very good thing that it's going to be on HBO Max, so that avoids the confusion of it being released in theaters. I think it'll also end up like sort of a limited series type deal. And like I do understand all the reservations, but I also feel like we have nothing to lose in the case of Justice League, because that movie, I honestly, there are things about that movie I don't hate, but it's got problems. And like Man of Steel, BVS, and Justice League as a trilogy is hilarious. I really like Man of Steel, but the other two are harder to love. But see, that's just it. Like I hear different things about all 3 of those movies. That's what makes it fun. But I think it'll be interesting. Let's see what happens.
Why not? You're right though, because we can't make movies in this time right now. We can do CGI, visual effects, dubbing. We can do all that stuff. So why not? Like we had a discussion like 2 weeks ago before they announced it about like some people were against having the Snyder Cut. And I like that they're not labeling it the Snyder Cut, because they're labeling Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's a different movie. That's always what we've been saying. It's a different
he's openly admitted, Zack Snyder said that he's only going to use about 20% of the original
film.
With it. And the fact that right now Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder are in negotiations to actually go back and do reshoots.
And they'll do Man of Steel too with Zack Snyder. I'm convinced now.
And it does bring up the question too, that could also bring back all of these main characters, so they don't have to worry about trying to figure out how do we reboot Batman in the midst of people could go
I don't think Ben Affleck wants to come back.
Well,
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I think he's done with it after everything that happened with BVS and Justice League.
They'll convince him.
And that was also on such a tumultuous part of his life that, like, would you want to go back there? Because aside from the movies, he had a lot of personal problems.
Right. Well, I was reading something on the internet that says that Ben Affleck's considering it, and the push that they're doing right now is for him to do his Batman movie with Joe Manganiello and maybe somebody else directed, but
Right. I mean,
they're using his script.
I want it so bad.
The script, what I've read, this script is brilliant. It is
And I don't
probably.
care that I know what happens.
I don't care that I know what's already.
I know
going
everything that happens in supposedly the Snyder cut. Like I read some things online about like different things. We're gonna see, like, it's not really a spoiler because it was in one of the trailers. We're actually gonna see that cyborg stuff. We're actually gonna see the Irish West scene where Barry saves her from a car crash or something like that. We're gonna see these things that we knew about. The picture of Darkseid that they released. I mean, come on.
Right.
Didn't they release that picture like 5 months ago? Like Zack Snyder just put it out on Vero.
Well, okay. Here's my question: with Zack Snyder getting his version of Justice League, did we get to see the David Ayer cut, his version of it?
Okay,
without Warner Brothers wanting to push, their version of it, because he's already said that there's a bunch of it that more Joker orientated, where it explains why Joker is so gangster and so forth. Like, it makes it look like the Joker we saw at the trailer.
Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, well, what I was gonna say was, so you brought up the David Ayer cut, which is why I make the point of like why I don't understand why they do the Snyder cut. I agree with the fact that I think it's great for Snyder that he gets to see his vision to fruition, right? But when you look at the DCEU as a whole, I'm just gonna keep calling it that because they haven't put out another name. But when you look at it as a whole, right? Man of Steel came out. I think Man of Steel's fine, but it's overall mixed reviews. But then BVS came out. Whatever people think of it personally, it got slaughtered in reviews, but then an extended version had to come out and a re-edited version had to come out to make it better. Then Suicide Squad came out and there was a lot of production issues with that movie and it got messed with. And then I don't know if it was really re-edited, but I know there was an extended version of it slightly on Blu-ray that came out that people might think is a little bit better. Then Justice League comes out and obviously we know there was a lot of production issues with that movie, and that movie came out and was a huge mess. And I think that I think for Snyder, it's amazing that he gets to go back, especially because, again, if we talk about, Ben Affleck having a hard time, Zack Snyder also had a very difficult time publicly. And so I think it's really good and cathartic for him that he gets to go back now to this project that he clearly cares about. Whatever you think of it as a viewer, he clearly does care. And so for him to get to go back and finish this is amazing, but also this is a studio dropping minimum $30 million, if not more, into a movie that already failed in theaters just to put it on a streaming service, potentially over a year after they launched it, which at that point, how much is your viewership going to grow or benefit from it?
Like, I think it's an investment to help the brand. Like, we're talking about it right now. I'm interested.
Okay, guys, let's put a pin on this conversation for
I just saw it.
Adam's got to run shortly, so let's kind of finish up with him. So, and then we'll come back to this.
I could talk about the Snyder cut for a while too. Trust me, that's what we do. That's what we do.
This whole episode, like,
a whole another year to talk about it.
Yeah. So let's jump back to that real quick, because, like you said, he's got to go. I do appreciate you coming by and hanging out. Anytime you have some free time, holler, and we'll absolutely make it work. Because for me, especially in the eyes of my kid, it's amazing that you did something that we all do. We all go around, we do movie trivia, and you came from us to be one of them, for lack of better terms. Like it's. Especially
went to the big leagues.
Yeah, in the eyes of the kid, it's awesome because he saw you and I competing, maybe not together, but on the same channel, and then you did something that he wants to see me do, so he knows it can happen. So I want to thank you for that.
Well, thanks for saying that. That's very nice of you to say. Honestly, I'm humbled by everything that's happened so far, and playing in the fan leagues, I appreciate every match I got, and I didn't take anything for granted. And I'm not undefeated in the fan leagues, but we also know that if you play enough fan leagues matches, there's different rules all over the place. Like, do your best. But but I have a solid record that I could stand on, and I have a lot of good memories. And I also, am allowed to continue hosting, writing, and all that good stuff. Things like this. I just can't play games or matches. So, yeah, it's exciting. My best advice is just play the game. Just play the game, no matter what league you're in. Just show up and play the game, whether you win or lose, and take it on the chin if you lose, and try not to have like a breakdown on the air if you can avoid it. And like we all love 4-letter words, and so does Christian Harloff. But I think if all of us making an effort to limit the cursing, at least in trivia matches, goes a long way too. Just so more people can watch it.
Yeah, more accessible.
Yeah. But I appreciate you saying that, and I'm really excited about the opportunity.
Yeah,
Alan, 4-letter word.
It's kind of the way it is. Yeah, Adam and Alan, both 4-letter words. Well, we look forward to seeing those matches, man, and we look forward to you bumping up Korruption's point system. Just get them up there. Get them up there.
Give me time. Give me time.
Cool.
Yeah, like Alan, just I'll convey his sentiment. It was nice talking to you, and Devin, happy to be here with you, and I hope to see you on one of these streams soon and play in one of these matches that you might be hosting. So, if you can do it, we can do it, hopefully. I mean, I say that, but I don't know that. But, yeah, we'll see what happens, and live long and prosper.
Thank you so much. It's
good. But good to be on call with you again, Adam. I just wanted to say I appreciate it, and good luck, man.
Yeah. And if you want to see me hosting a match, I did host Scott Harvey and Andrew Barr's match in multiplex recently. That was a fun one, so definitely check it out. But I'm sure I'll see you all around. I do all the extracurriculars, and I won't be a stranger.
Cool.
All right.
Right on, man.
Awesome. All right. Take care, guys. Go talk about the Snyder Cut some more, all right? Cheers.
Sure we will. Cheers.
See you, Adam.
So I do have
Okay,
a question
so back
for you,
to the
Alan.
Snyder Cut.
Right.
I
You have
think
a
it's
question
about
for Alan.
brand
Hold on.
recognition. It's improving DC's image overall. It's showing that we're inclusive to fans. We're not just going to do what Marvel does. We're not just going to do what's popular. And what I keep saying is, why not? Like, they have the money. You might as well. They're not going to make anything out there. Warner Brothers isn't going to put out an original property that's going to be more exciting than Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's all about brand improvement. It's an investment.
I agree with Nikki 100% on that,
Okay, I can
actually.
shit on the Snyder Cut all I want, but I got a question for Alan real quick.
Yes.
Alan, really quick. How was it being on SpaceX today?
On SpaceX.
Thank you. That was a great setup. Setup. I appreciate that. That's pretty funny.
I just want to point out we did watch that in my house.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Honest?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course I was on it.
I didn't know.
I brought it back.
I watched
I
watched the Ron thing.
Of course I was on it. Yeah, me and Elon, we talk about different strategies.
Come on, now, let's face it, you had to parachute back to Earth.
Yeah, I mean, I had to make this. I missed the last 2 weeks, so I had to, as long as the parachute was there, I had to use it.
I
get back
last week too.
In fact, we had a Model X in there, and I just, threw that out the back.
James Bond style, or the Fast and Furious.
Exactly.
Don't
we'll
say
never
that too
converted
loud.
it in
They'll hear
back
it
in
and get an idea for a
2015.
movie.
He stole,
That is right.
he stole the Tesla that's out flying in space and drove it
That's
back.
right. I just jumped into that thing.
Yeah,
And
Here's
then
a
he put
question.
cameras on it. It's going to be in the next Triple X movie.
That's right.
Here's
No,
a
wait,
question.
hold on.
Lucy Rose, because she's angry at that too.
Alan's actually going to be in that Tom Cruise space movie that he's making with Elon.
Well, obviously.
And
Honestly,
Tom
we
Cruise
trained
is
him for
joining the
space
Fast and
movies.
Furious franchise, which is also going to have Tom Cruise in space. Boom! It all comes
Elon
Elon Musk is going to be the villain.
Wait, what?
I just
Tom
broke
Cruise?
news with no sources.
That's right.
Aaron
He's the
just
bad guy in
blew
Hobbs and
Nikki's
Shaw.
mind.
Like, he's the
Aaron
voice of-
just blew Nikki's mind.
Oh, yeah. No. I had a
Tom
crazy
Cruise.
last week because I there we go. I missed last week, obviously. I was at a friend's party, but some of you might know I use the TikTok app, and I post memes and stuff on there. So I
What are
post
you,
memes.
12?
So
You use
Oh, I'm 12.
So I post memes on there, whatever, and I don't get much views, whatever. I just post the memes because I think they're funny. So I found this meme because a lot of people have been sharing the memes where they make like a weird face, like whether it's a tweet that's like really confusing, like I can't, the only thing that sounds difficult about being pregnant with triplets is being pregnant for 27 months. People share those things and these weird things. So I started doing that, and I found that
That was a bad joke right there.
Yeah.
But somebody made it.
Devin has far
Oh, Lord.
Listen,
So I found
anything
this
can get
meme.
popular on TikTok.
Right. So the
Mike
meme I
did it.
found was
Tested with TikTok.
One thing I know about
So-
TikTok, it's TikTok by Kesha, which I can do the whole entire song.
Hey,
I know
That's
every
how
word
we're
to
ending
it.
tonight. That's
TikTok,
how we're ending.
I'm a rock.
Program.
So
Oh, yeah.
I
Wake up
found
in the
this meme.
morning feeling like
Not P.
got my
Diddy.
glasses, I'm out the
Oh
door.
my
I'm
God,
gonna
what is
make
happening?
this shit
As soon as the guest leaves, we all devolve.
I missed the word.
It's literally
I know,
wild.
right?
I
Yeah.
found this meme though.
The inmates have taken
I-
over the asylum.
Right. But I
Yeah.
found this meme where it's this woman holding up a sign at a pro-choice rally or whatever that says, "If an abortion, children close your ears" or whatever. It says, "If abortion is murder, then giving a blowjob is cannibalism." And I thought it was funny,
Oh my
but it's kind of
God.
disgusting. So I kind of did the disgusted face, and I captioned it very wrong. I found out because I said I don't think it works that way, but I didn't care. I was joking. I was fun. And I put it up, and I don't get much traction. So here we are, 136,000 likes and 5,000 comments later. People are fighting.
Holy
for me a wallet.
shit.
So I made 5,000 people upset over the weekend while you guys were doing your show last week.
Nice.
I was called a wallet, a toolbox.
I bet.
People were
That's
just
the word
assuming
we
my
got.
politics, and people
Hey.
were fighting with each other. And yeah, I'm a TikTok superstar now. So yeah,
Hey.
Nice.
Hold on. So
So
I
I'm
have,
You
I
are
have a-
12 years old.
I have a very funny story in relation to that. So at a job I used to work at, there was a guy who worked there, and I don't know his exact age, but he was late 40s, early 50s, easily, right? And he was this guy who always was he was always doing something to try and pursue some kind of fame, right? So he he learned how to do different types of impressions, and I worked at a movie theater, so he learned how to do the voice at the start of the screen. That's
Yeah,
amazing
there it
that's there.
Holy
there it is.
shit.
See, well, that's not.
Speaking of
That's
impressions,
that was
Look at that.
In what, an hour of it? being up, right?
33.8 thousand
11 hours.
likes.
Oh no, there's
What's a
100,000
blowjob?
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, sir.
Well, we'll get to that. By
It
the
is
way,
after dark.
Time out. We will get to that, guys. I'm thinking maybe Friday, if everybody's free. I'd like to do a little bit of a celebration happy hour stream because Devin actually graduated from high school yesterday.
Oh, congrats, man.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm thinking we're all gonna just sit around. If we're old enough, you can have a drink. If not, well, what you do off screen is your own business, and just
Right.
for his graduation. So circling back to that, Nikki. Because of that, we will teach you what a blowjob is on that stream.
On that stream, I don't think Devin knows what that is either.
I
There
can
you
bring
go.
props.
Well,
I have anything you want.
But no, I
Oh no.
I was joking. I was having a little fun with that, and apparently, because it's not because I normally when I post memes and whatnot on there, it gets 50 likes, a couple hundred views, whatever, one or two comments. This was funny, ha ha ha. I don't, post things that are appropriate.
Beer!
Hooray,
So
beer.
My mom asked
and
if
this
she
one
should
actually
watch
kind
it.
of
I said absolutely not.
I posted another one, and look, upfront religious, that's me, but I want to have a little fun on Easter, so I took the scene from Borat, the running of the Jew scene or whatever, where you have in Borat. I put that on there, so I said how Romans celebrated Easter before Jesus rose from the dead. And some people weren't happy with that. I posted that.
Wow.
Guys, we have a controversial figure here.
I know.
So
That's why
people were upset. Well, look, controversy sells.
Matt, look, just do the TikTok thing. Put on a crop top, shake your ass a little bit, and you'll be perfectly
Do that little dance
Yeah.
or
I think
whatever
I
on
can
there.
get away with that.
What in the hell? I step away for 2 seconds and I can still hear you guys. And I cannot understand what is happening.
Alan has no idea what he's coming back
Matt,
to.
It's a meme.
I appreciate your memes. I appreciate your controversial
It's all about the
stances.
memes.
Alan, what's a blowjob?
Look,
Okay.
Yeah,
First of
Alan,
all,
take it away.
Save it.
oh, we got to save it for Friday. If we're doing this thing on Friday, I mean, are we allowed to stream if we do a demonstration?
No,
As long as no body parts.
Alan, you bring the
I got
bananas.
tools that we can use, okay?
Yes, I will bring the bananas.
So did we need to go back?
Little guy right here. You can use Mr.
That's
Electro
Dr.
right there.
Manhattan?
No, that's Electro.
It was.
Where's Dr. Manhattan?
No, it's Electro.
And then we can
Oh God, Lord.
we can use this lightsaber as the
Hey, you know what?
Jesus.
That's perfect.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolute genius.
It's the
Hold
right
on, hold on.
color.
Hold on.
demonstrate. And here's
That
the thing,
lightsaber is
too.
also hard and it grows. We can do more than one
Exactly.
demonstration.
Right? We could do a bunch
So
of demonstrations.
As you push, it gets shorter.
It goes in, it gets shorter.
And then you can just do that. So there you go.
Oh gosh.
Yikes.
Our little Nicky is just going to be so well educated next week.
Dr. Manhattan right now. He's among us.
Apparently, people didn't like me posting a meme that
He's the
says
blue glow, he's
the
here.
trampoline used to be called a jumpoline before your mom jumped on it.
Oh.
You don't understand.
Brother! What?
Some people have no idea.
How am I as old as I am and never heard that joke before? That is brilliant.
I've got some good ones. I've got some good ones. I'm afraid to say.
It's like,
Listen, YouTube's already told us we're not kid friendly after what just happened. Just say
Oh,
it.
well, that's that. Yeah,
True that.
we passed that mark a long time ago.
Yeah.
nice.
But I've heard my share of mama jokes. That Matthew,
That
I
was
will
a good
say, goes at the top. Goes at the top. Thank you very much for that.
It's kind of like
It
in
was
Remember
so
the
good.
Titans where the big guy comes out grabbing his back. Okay, mama, piggyback ride.
one. Yeah, my back's hurt. My back sure is hurting.
Yo,
Oh my-
Patrick, what's wrong?
That one.
My back hurts, but I gave your mama a piggyback ride. She's bigger than I am. It's like,
Oh my God.
It's like I gained literally 1,000 followers in a week. So yeah.
Hey,
hot stuff right
you're a famous guy.
Matt's gonna start. Okay, this
Try to
channel
help the
doesn't need to get monetized. Matt will just get monetized on TikTok. And pay for
There we
it.
go.
Verified, baby.
He'll fund
Matt,
the
do
rest
you
of
want my direct
our
deposit
season.
info?
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna pay all of that. I do lives. So
If
people
we're
donate money.
hold on, Matt, if we're getting paid, can I go back on all the hours I did last year and just backtrack all of it and get that money?
Back
We'll do that.
Backpack.
We'll do
back pay. This isn't.
Back pay, brother.
At one point, I was in so many videos that Matt channels was actually my channel.
This isn't
Matt
Social
Beard's,
Security.
Net worth is $4.5 million, even though he's never made $4.5
$1 million.
It's like Christian. It's like somebody Googled what Christian's worth, and it's like almost $6 million. It's like,
Yeah.
I wish my bank account had that much money in it.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
Like, I'll tell you what, though. I know TikTok got a lot of hate because it used to be that Musical.ly app where it's all the girls lip syncing, doing the dances, whatever.
Right.
That's one thing. If you go on there now, you still get your dance.
Oh my God.
Downloading it as
But
we
go
speak.
on there now.
Nikki.
Nikki says girls.
But no, you got
Nikki,
Star
there's
Wars
another
content on
website.
there.
Wait. There's another website Nikki needs to look up.
Yes.
Nikki,
It's
it's onlyfans.com.
Okay.
Pornhub.com.
That's all you need. You porn, Pornhub, all of that.
Yeah.
Go into
3
Google.
ones, that's a good one too.
Hold on. Guys,
For like your whole
Matt,
life.
what did you say?
Look, I don't want to hear this whole equal pay crap anymore because people on OnlyFans are getting paid like $100 million a month. Like, I swear to God, I'm not
Dude.
exaggerating. It's like, yeah,
Oh no, I have a friend of mine.
Taxes, but oh my
A
god,
friend of mine has one of those, and she's making like $2,000 every 2 weeks.
it's like I have to make one of these things now.
Well, when it's fucking, she says all I do is like send like 2-minute videos.
Like, I will legit
That's crazy,
do ASMR
man.
on there. Eating like
Hold on, let me. I'm gonna start something.
There's got to be something like some, you know, some what do you call it? A fetish for fat guys that
$100,000 a month.
fat guys that
Fetish for little men like me.
yeah.
I'm sure women are-
How old are you? How old are you?
Eat.
I'm
Oh,
way
God.
older.
I mean, I saw an episode of Bones the other day where like they went to this club where like they had like little skinny women feeding big fat guys or vice versa, and they were getting paid a whole bunch of money. So it's like,
I'm not paying for those
where do I
pizzas.
find those places? I'd
There
love
we go.
money to feed me. So I mean, I'm in shape, round shape. We could just make it even more.
Right.
I'm so confused.
Hold on. Nikki, how old are you?
Considering you don't even know what a blowjob is, I imagine.
How old are you? No, I'm actually asking.
I think he's 17.
17? Okay. So
No.
there,
he's 17.
well, I was going to say, depending on your age, there is an interest group for people of your type. They're called pedophiles.
And
And on that
Jesus.
tonight,
Hey, Ron, bringing the heat.
All I need is a cougar. That's all I need in my life. Evan was saying the other day, like,
So-
all you need in life is a cougar.
And it was in this moment they
Hey.
regretted me bringing me back.
That's right, exactly.
So this
That's
is my
right. Get
favorite-
you a cougar, Nikki.
Yes.
Nick, you need a cougar.
So this is my favorite like chain of comments I've ever seen. So the
Okay.
jumpaline thing I posted.
Jump
Some girl
motherfucking
with a
lean.
Baby Yoda picture, so you know what, I'll forgive you for that. Goes wallet, which I thought was funny because why are you calling me a wallet? That makes me feel wealthy.
You're a whore.
Someone responds dishwasher, then she responds toolbox. Then we get incel, object,
Oh, it's ugly.
property, oven,
Property.
glue,
What is the appliance thing? Hold on.
I
I know
know.
I'm old. What is with the appliance thing?
The only one
It's like,
I
I don't know.
understood
These are
was
and then
Toolbox.
she starts
Toolbox. I
saying,
get that. I've heard that one before.
I me
Okay,
too.
wait, Nikki's the youngest.
Evan got an
Like,
awesome toolbox at his graduation today.
And thanks to
And
those
he
people.
needs to keep it away from me because I will use those tools and they will be lost forever.
It wasn't the normal
like-
graduation. It was the
Special
speculative
vocational
one.
graduation,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
I'll turn this up.
Okay.
So
Aaron,
this
can you
is
do
one
any
of my
impressions? Kevin, you too. We haven't had you on much of these
Oh,
streams,
yeah.
so I want to know: is there any impressions either of you two of you can do?
Not that I can think of.
Not
I
that you can
mean,
think of.
Well, okay. While you guys give it some, thought,
Come here.
I have a couple of questions. Mr. President and
I'm
Vice
not gonna play
President
what I was
Dr.
about to play.
How do you feel about the riots
this is a challenge,
across the world? And like,
Okay.
people-
Okay.
there we
Okay.
go.
no,
we
no, no.
cannot-
Let him answer. Let him answer this. It's not. Nobody
Wait, can
political.
you guys hear Matt?
All right.
Night.
We were going to talk about getting in trouble on social media. I had to deactivate my Facebook account today.
Toshiba is a great
Ooh.
brand. We love it. We love Toshiba.
And there goes our stuff.
There goes the 300. Exactly right.
I'm still stuck.
am
Move on.
I am in the camp. Okay. It sickens me. It actually pains me to see this going on because the whole world has been locked down for two months, right?
Yeah.
And the first thing that Americans do when they're let back out is to burn down the cities. And I sympathize. I understand the reasons, and I get all that, but it's not justice. It's not. The mayor of Atlanta had the most brilliant take on this. Keisha Lance Bottoms.
Keisha Lance Bottoms,
Yeah, she's absolutely incredible, and it's heartbreaking because my mother lives in Indianapolis, and people we've known for a very long time, that she's known for a very long time, had to leave their place of business downtown Indianapolis because they were afraid because things would escalate. And my friend is as a police, he's a recently sworn in a policeman in Austin, Texas, and reports of they had to be called out to a couple different places and shots were fired and all these things. And it just pains me to see that our whole lives we've been trying to bring everyone together through peace, through unity, and to see this goes on, it breaks my heart. And I was yelled at, and I was called so many different things because I was saying riots are not justice, burning down neighborhoods are not justice, and people were trying to. I was throwing MLK quotes, Martin Luther King quotes. The what we've learned about him, and the greatness of him, his legacy was to peacefully, through nonviolence, protest, get your rights, stand up for your community, stand up for your people through peace, through nonviolence, through protest in that way. And people were told, telling me, no, he didn't really mean that. How are you gonna tell me? I mean, it's amazing that people could think that burning down neighborhoods, burning down things, destroying your community is in any way beneficial, in any way justice, and it just blows my mind, and it makes me seriously sad. Yesterday, I almost had a panic attack because of this, and it's just getting worse. Now it's in more cities. And what I was going to ask you guys tonight is, I hope everybody is far away from anything that could go wrong or anything like this. And I'm blown away. I'm saddened. I'm disgusted. I'm hurt. Because all I've ever wanted as an artist, as a person, is to bring people together. And I don't see how tearing things down accomplishes that at all.
And I will say this. First off, and I'll say this right away. I'm a white man, so take it as you will. All right, I am not, colored. I'm not of any other race. I'm just a white, pasty man with family from Switzerland and Germany and all that stuff that came to America 100-some years ago. So, no, we were not involved in World War II and all that stuff. But I'll say this. Take it as you will. Obviously, we can all agree what happened, was it Saturday or whatever, last week, with George Floyd being murdered. Despicable.
Despicable. Horrible. Exactly.
Oh, man.
Exactly. Should not have
people that
happened.
aren't supposed to do that.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. Regardless of what you say, this is not a race thing. This is a people thing. A man was murdered by another person with three people not doing anything about it. Because this could have been a completely different situation. Those other three cops could have pulled that other guy off of him, and none of this would have happened. These cops swore an oath to protect their communities and the people, and they did not do that. And all four of them should have been arrested.
Yeah,
the main guy who actually had his knee on the back of George Floyd's neck should get a more severe punishment.
Exactly.
Yes.
But the other three should be arrested because you can get arrested for being involved in a murder, whether you committed the act or not. Remember, Ray Lewis was involved in this thing where there's a whole thing going on. Regardless of what you think, he did. What, Nikki?
There's things like we can learn from, like Alan, like you said, what we learn from like movies, entertainment, actors. You're there to bring people together, and I just think of this like what you just said, Matt.
Exactly.
Like I think back to like Magneto. Magneto said, "I've been under the mercy of men just following orders. Never again." Like. Right. So I understand people that are frustrated, but like burning down cities, that's not the right thing to do. And at the other side of it, shooting somebody, killing somebody is not the right thing to do either. When there's nobody on. Frankly, and I hate to say this, I'm surprised we haven't seen this behavior from humanity sooner during this pandemic. I'm actually kind of like impressed by humanity's capacity to like not
restrain.
I thought we would have been rioting weeks ago. So it's actually happening. It's definitely concerning, and it's definitely concerning given the fact that some of the things that saying there's conflicting evidence, whatever you will say, it seems like we're towards the end of the tunnel, at least. Like there's research being done. The vaccine is like closer. Probably won't be FDA approved for a while, but there are people that are saying like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and the light is fire and blood and just chaos, and you don't want to see that.
No,
And like, another
no.
thing I'll say is that I think like another thing like just goes back to entertainment. What you said, Matt, about like this isn't a human problem, this isn't an American problem, this isn't a black problem, it's not a white problem. We are all sentient beings. Whether we're like that's one of the things that I love about like Picard. Just trying to bring it back to like a
Here it goes back to Star Trek.
No, I'm just trying to make it relatable to people. But one of the things like I learned who I am from Star Trek. Like my values come from Star Trek. My dad sat me down, made me watch Star Trek so that I knew how to be a good person. And Captain Picard says, Admiral Picard says that somebody asks him, you saved like this many billion Romulan lives. And he responds, no, lives. We're all alive. We're all sentient. So like, why are we dividing ourselves over stupid things like the color of our skin? Like it's like we're all like pigmented white here, but like Devin has a lot of like his mother was not. So like we're all part of the same human race. Like we don't know what our ancestors was. We don't know exactly like what unless you spit in one of those cups where you come from. We come from Earth. And we're all here.
Right. And like, you know, so like I said, we all acknowledge, I think everybody, doesn't matter who you are, what color or whatever, agrees this is a horrible thing. And we are all hurting. Everybody's hurting because it shouldn't have happened. So I feel your pain. But I don't think that we should be rioting over this. Because, like, I hate to say it, but I legit think there are people in Minneapolis that took advantage of the looting and the rioting to steal and stuff.
Of course.
This is not what he would want.
No.
And look,
would never want
because,
that.
Like I said,
his family's already come out and said that.
I could be
his family's already come out and said it.
Yeah, but I could be feeling completely different. You know, I think, and like I said, I don't agree with this attacking the police station. But if you were going to attack something, I could understand that a little more because they're, you know, at the time they weren't arresting them; they just pretty much fired them. So I can understand them going at the police station and attacking. And by my understanding, they weren't at first. But still, I can understand that more than attacking the Target and the Wendy's and other places. Because now, because of what these people have done, regardless of what you believe, you know, whether you think they're right or wrong in doing this, and I fully disagree with the rioting.
I live in Atlanta.
There are people that lost their jobs because of this. There are people, especially during this time, that are relying on a paycheck that aren't going to get it for who knows how long because they got to rebuild that Target. They got to rebuild the Wendy's.
Happy birthday, Donald Trump!
Yeah, happy birthday, Trump! What a birthday for you, huh? Anyway, I don't want to get political, like in that sense.
Yeah.
Kevin, you're in Atlanta
right now, but
I'm
I know we're
about
being political. This is a political topic, obviously.
Yeah,
but
the pop-up ad that came up.
Right.
Yeah. Birthday.
I'm about 30 minutes above Atlanta, but
regardless of what you feel about, you know, Donald Trump, let's not get into that. Let's not try because I don't want people to be like fighting like crazy in the comments.
No.
People feel
right. Yeah.
Regardless,
Kevin,
if it's good or bad.
Yeah. Because Kevin, you live there.
Kevin, I would like to hear your take. You know.
Yeah, I mean, when I woke up this morning and saw the tweets and everything from the mayor of Atlanta, from Mayor Bottoms, it was unbelievable to me seeing video from the police having to basically escort the fire trucks and the firemen because they were being attacked. The CNN center being bashed in. It's just unbelievable to me. Now they have now they have soldiers, basically guarding the National Guard, all around in Atlanta, and that's scary to me.
It's terrifying.
It
It's
is.
terrifying.
It really is. Yeah.
And to think of a week ago, those first responders, everybody, regardless of skin color, were saying, thank you, you're our heroes, you're our first responders, you're in the front line battling this disease. And now they're being
public enemy
kept from doing their job, and they're public enemy number one. And for what? It's absolutely amazing.
And now there's a big billboard in Atlanta that says, if you love your city, if you love the city of Atlanta, go home.
Yeah.
And it's like, that shouldn't be the way it is, man.
No.
It's just, it's a sad state of affairs, how quickly things have turned.
And what's even
it's definitely not the way.
harder
No.
is I have a mixed race son, and he sees this and he's asked me, Dad, do I have to worry about this? And I had to explain to him that no, dude, there are bad people out there. But if you look at most cops, they're not bad people. They're out there doing their job. They're out protecting everyone. Right. There's bad people out there, and they're going to do bad things. Yes. But and Alan, when they were attacking you, Alan, I privately messaged you. And
you did, and I appreciate that. And I go back to my kids.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm getting.
Take a breath. Take a breath.
Okay, man.
We're all family here.
I want my kids to know that's not how you solve your problems.
Right.
Yes, there are things worth fighting for. And there's self-protection. But you're not going to create unity by destroying anything. It doesn't make sense. And I think about if my kids were in there, because people kept telling me, well, you can't comment about this because you don't understand the struggle. You don't understand these things because you're white and your skin. They don't know my background. They don't know what I've been through. They don't know any of those things. It's just that surface level. And I thought that's what we as a society, as a group of people, have been trying to push past. We've been trying to push past that for so long. And I don't want my kids to look at the news. They're supposed to get information from this and see that, these people are destroying the city and it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. You don't solve your problems that way. If you want to change things from the bottom up, you get involved in it to see how you can change it. There should be more people joining the police force so they can change it. There should be more, the various things that instead of, the time somebody put a quote on my Facebook thing, that, the time for rioting should have been, instead of videotaping that incident, you jump on that policeman and knock him off. Yes. That's the time for violent action.
I want to know why the person stood there and filmed, because this happened for almost 10 minutes.
Yeah. Right.
And you can actually hear him. And if you go back, I was reading transcripts.
They're filming to help the victims
of his body cam. And do you know why they were there? Do you guys honestly know why they were there?
It's over. The store thought he was putting in a fake lotto ticket originally.
Yeah, Ford.
That's what it's
fake $20 bill.
Something that is pretty amazing that I saw in this, and the right thing to do. And this came from Denzel. Denzel was driving down the road, saw a policeman confronting a homeless person, got out of his car, and just stood and was present and put himself kind of in between a little bit. Didn't instigate, didn't attack, didn't do anything, didn't burn down the neighborhood. Just stood there to make sure that this interaction was going to be okay. There we go. It's all good. Everything's fine. And there you go. That's the action you take. That is what you do. If there's a corrupt police department, they need to be monitored. You monitor them. You put yourself there. You don't destroy your community. You don't destroy your neighborhoods. It's painful to know that this is happening.
Up to the boys.
And I will say this about the cameraman. That was the guy who was recording the cop doing that. Like, I agree. If I was in that situation, I would have stepped in, maybe not tackled, because I mean, look at me, I'm Noodle Man, but I would have came in And I would have, but I would have been, I would have said, been like, stop it or whatever. Or I would have probably said something to the other cops, like, what are you doing? That guy's going to die. I would have done that. So I don't know how many people were around at that time, but that cameraman probably had in the back of his head, like, he could have been thinking, well, if I tackle this cop, those other 3 cops might get involved, and then now I'm involved in the situation.
Right.
So,
and that's very true.
Yeah, you're right, Matt.
It could have been,
so
exactly. They could have
gonna,
shot you.
I'm not gonna go like, you should have stopped him. I'm not gonna be like that. I know you guys aren't being like that either. But I would have, at least said something. But I can understand why he didn't get involved as far as tackling, trying to get him off.
And I totally understand that too. It just, I'm really worried about what it's breeding in people, because my whole thing has been, death and destruction doesn't create anything. It doesn't bring creation. It doesn't do anything positive. I've never, ever in my life, and I've been around guns a long time. I grew up around guns. I got shot in the back, but I've never wanted to own one. And now I'm thinking, do I need to? And that really pains me to think, oh my God, that's a thought I'm having, because I need to be worried about if people are justifying and saying it's okay to go burn it all down. And I want justice, but I don't want to burn something we've all tried to create together to burn it down. I don't think that's right.
Even T.I. came out and said that this is not the right thing to do. People are coming out and doing this under the banner of Antifa and Black Lives Matter, and he said that's not what this is about, and that that's just a front and trying to justify something that it has nothing to do with anything. And so we need more people like that that are a voice for the public, people that people listen to, and unfortunately it's come to that. I hate that, but
well, we need more people like Keisha Bottoms, because her statement, that just kind of made me feel, thank you. There's somebody in this mass of everyone trying to say it's okay that these riots are happening. At least she had the common sense to say, guys, we're destroying something we've all worked hard to create. Please don't do it.
And then you go back and rebuild. And then you gotta go rebuild.
It's just she really helped me in a place where I felt really low. As soon as I heard her statement, I was, thank you. Just somebody out there saying common sense and saying, destruction isn't going to bring us anything.
And I will. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, just because I'm the only person who hasn't actually said anything.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, it's fine. This is a really hard thing to talk about. I think you guys have said a lot of the main points, but one of the things that I think, the way that I kind of look at the world, that fuels a lot of things, is I think a lot of people, and we see this in just everyday lives, have this sort of blind anger. And I'm not saying that in that, like, people don't have a right to be enraged, because the fact of the matter is what happened, the event with that incited all this was straight up murder. And I completely support the movement. Specifically, I do believe that all lives matter, but in the moment I understand supporting specifically Black Lives Matter, because it is, if it is, whether it's publicly portrayed this way or whether it is real hard and cold fact, it seems like every couple of days there is now a publicized killing of an African-American person. Whether it was a couple of weeks ago, those guys in Georgia who killed the man that was running because they thought they saw him committing a robbery, and they were doing their version of a citizen's arrest, which last time I checked, arrest doesn't count for killing someone. But and the problem is, but when you look at every situation, it feels like people have a hard time trying to connect with each other. And I feel like that's what this is. This is that blind rage and anger coming out in that. So, like, just as an example, so, like, I think it was Nikki talked about the fact that like people have held off protesting for so long. But the thing is, people were protesting during coronavirus. People were out there protesting that their barbershops weren't open or their restaurants weren't open. And it was a peaceful protest. It was a peaceful protest, right? And it wasn't met with anything negative. These protests, whether it was this event now or things in the past, have started out peaceful. Right. And it's this is a weird thing to go with. And I understand this, but it's a little bit to brighten the mood here as well, because this did get really dark really quick. But if anybody saw Bad Boys for Life that came out, there's a scene in it where they're trying to talk to I believe he's like a book cooker for drug dealers. And Martin Lawrence goes in and he tries to speak to him and he tries to talk to him and he tries to be calm and he gets his ass kicked. And then Will Smith steps up and he says a line, I'm paraphrasing, but he says a line, you've already dealt with Dr. Martin, now you're dealing with Brother Malcolm. And it's the idea of he goes in and, goes to try and beat his ass. And it's that mentality of like, these riots that are happening, people tried to be peaceful at first. And what were they met with? And again, I'm not going to take this super political, but they were met with, and people, I mean, the tweets are out there, which is the only reason I'm bringing it up. Weeks ago, when people were protesting during, the height of coronavirus, their barbershops being closed, again, not trying to be political, but Trump put out a tweet saying, these are good people, support them, make deals with them, back them up. And then when the initial protests are happening, he's making comments about supporting police brutality against the riots happening. And when you meet peace with violence, violence is going to respond. And then the most public figure in your country, the person that's supposed to be a leader, puts out a tweet in which in all caps he calls them thugs, when you were part of the inciting reason that they took that step further to start looting. I am not behind rioting and looting. I've seen situations. I saw a picture that someone took in one of a Target that was rioted, and you can see in the background there are people destroying things, and there's some white dude who looks about as old as me, and they're running away with a box of Legos, and it's like people are taking advantage. But then I saw another thing, which I believe this was in the heart of where these riots started. There was a older black gentleman who I believe owned a restaurant, and his restaurant was rioted and destroyed. And he is in tears to these rioters, screaming at them, saying, "I'm on your side. I'm with you. What does destroying my restaurant have to do with our equality?" Because it is for him.
Exactly.
And the fact of the matter is the world is, right now, unfortunately, the world is just an unfair place. And I don't know how we're going to get there, because the fact of the matter is, because again, I don't want to be that, the white guys, like I have black friends, but I have friends who are black, and they've been very open about the fact that, like, if they get pulled over, they are worried about what could happen, because that's the world we live in now. Whereas I don't have that concern, because unfortunately, that doesn't seem to happen to white people. And I'm not saying that it should, but it's unfair that it happens to a specific targeted group. And I think this is anyone who's, just calling this, brushing it off. And again, that's not what anyone here is doing, but anyone who's just brushing this off and acting like it's nothing and saying, "Oh, go home, get over it. You're stupid." And I'm sorry, you're stupid, because that's not how we should treat people, And it's just unfortunate that, again, it's violence meets violence. You're going to rise to match what you're being dealt with. These people were doing peaceful protests in the streets and were met with beanbag guns and tear gas. How do you think they're going to respond? It's going to get violent. And yes, there are organizations like Antifa that there's evidence where they're clearly taking advantage. I mean, there was a video I saw, and I don't know specifically who the person was that was doing this, but it was an AutoZone that would later go on to be burned down, in which there was a peaceful protest happening around it. And some guy was just walking by with like a pipe, smashing in the windows before things even were beginning to get violent, just inciting people to hit that point. I don't know who that person is, if they're affiliated with anyone, or if they're just a rogue person that just decided this is how I'm going to act.
I think that's usually how it gets started. Like there might be one or two rogue people that just keep fanning those flames.
And I'll tell you what,
I'm in a moment of positivity right now. So we all had a chance to say our piece with this. So I mean, you need a dance break. Dance it out. Everybody, if you're feeling frustrated, if you're mad,
And I'll be right back.
don't burn buildings down, just dance.
That's right.
The buildings no longer on fire.
Matt, TikTok video
Carpets
live.
everywhere.
Matt, make a TikTok video live on camera.
Right.
It's my. I'll tell you
I will say
something.
this, though.
It's my birthday. I'll tell you what. It's my birthday.
It's
So-
my birthday.
I do have something to say though about the whole road. You know, some people are trying to start things. About an hour away from me, you know, there's protests. You know, there's some yelling, but there was no like attacking and whatnot. Yesterday there was, you know, violence, but today it was more, you know, it was yelling, but they weren't fighting. First off, I want to say shout out to the kid that was picking up the trash that was on the floor. You're going to become a local celebrity just for doing that. Two, yeah, the
see.
I might bring that kid on the show too and talked about it. But no, don't eat bats too. But I did see, because they had the camera people recording, there was one guy that was trying to go to the cops to start something, and he had to be grabbed, and he was like freaking out and yelling at the guys grabbed him. So there are people like that. I was watching as somebody was trying to start something with the cops because, you know, they probably believe all cops are bad, which is not true. And then a second thing, I want to go back to the Trump thing, and I know people probably are not going to like this. People are going to like this, but I do want to clarify the
hit the
differences
deck.
between the good people and then the thug thing. With the good people thing,
ladies and gentlemen, that would be at Matt Beer on.
It's Matt Beer.
You gotta bring it back to
Come at
me.
me, bro.
I don't
How do you
Gonna
feel
bring
about
it.
anyway, so
Gonna bring it
come
back
at
to
me.
me and my
Come at me.
tweets.
So here's the
I can tweet whatever I want. It's my birthday.
I will say
Yeah.
I am
Go ahead, Matt.
not. The things I say do not make me either a supporter or against Trump. This is just me speaking unbiasedly. Oh yeah. So when he said the whole, he called people in Minnesota. He was calling the people rioting thugs, and then with the people that were rioting in Michigan or protesting, I should say, calling good people. The difference is, and the thing in Michigan was not just white men; it was women, it was people of color, nationalities. So we'll just go with that.
Well,
So
Sheriff
that's
Joe
nothing to do
Clark
with race.
was speaking at the Michigan event. Sheriff Joe Clark, who is an
Right.
African American.
African American, yeah.
But
See,
in
when you say
Michigan,
somebody's name, you don't know their race.
right? But in Michigan, the difference,
We're all the
and
same.
maybe it would have been different if the cops would have started first, but nothing happened. No shots were fired. It was a protest. And as we all know, Trump wasn't the biggest fan of having lockdowns go on for a long time, whether you think it's because of greed, money, whatever. He didn't.
Yeah.
So there's that. The Minnesota or Minneapolis things, it was full on riots destroying things in the city. So whether I agree or disagree, because I don't think he should have called them thugs. I agree with that. He's not the only president that's called people thugs for rioting as well.
And if I can sidetrack just for a second, Matt, the fact that Trump uses a stupid word should not surprise anyone.
True.
He's been doing it
Exactly.
for 4 fucking years.
Look at his Twitter. Are you really surprised? He says something stupid.
Right?
I mean,
I hope he never discovers TikTok.
Right.
I think I
Well,
said.
he
I think
found
I
Vine.
said.
He used Vine.
I think I said bad hombres before.
That's pretty good, Kev.
That's pretty good, Kevin.
So we were
All
talking
right,
about
Matt, continue. Sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
And let's not act like Trump was the only president that used the word thug. He should not have. But Obama called, it was either the people of Baltimore or Virginia.
Yep.
He called people rioting thugs. Let's just be fair.
No,
Whether,
you're absolutely
I don't
correct.
think that word should have been used at all. I don't agree, because you're the president of the United States. You shouldn't be saying that. Express your anger without calling people names, because, it's not a good look. I can understand, like actors saying it or whatnot. That's one thing, or just regular people. But when you're a leader, you shouldn't be saying that. But let's be fair. There was a difference in Michigan compared to Minnesota. Also, I know there's riots going on all over the country. And this will be my final piece on it, unless somebody else talks about whatever. I don't agree with rioting, but I'm not going to tell you not to riot. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm a white man. I can't tell another person who is probably has a different feeling towards the whole incident as far as like how they would react to it. I'm not going to tell them, regardless of color, because it's not just African Americans going out there. It's, you know, everybody of, you know, every color. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Do what you want. Just know there are consequences with everything. If you think you can steal a giant TV or a box of Legos, you're wrong. They're going to eventually find out you've stolen whatever, and then you're going to probably receive a check, or maybe a cop will come to you.
There's
Always
cameras
say this.
everywhere. Like,
Yeah,
Right, literally everywhere.
everyone. Just be
So everybody, the people that are riding, the people that are not riding, the people that are looking at it and being scared, I think we all just want to be safe. We all just want to feel safe. That's all what life is being about. We all have the same emotions. We just feel them at different times.
Right.
Yeah.
But what I'll say though is, no matter what you're doing, where you are, whatever, because I mean, literally, the town I live in, there were protests. It wasn't violent. There was no riots. It was people protesting. And one thing I liked that they did was, towards the end of their protest, they actually laid down, like, face to the ground for 7 to 10 minutes, however long it was. You know, because that's how long the whole
Right,
protest
yes.
is.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a nice little thing to do as a protest. But no matter what you do, stay safe. My sister lives in one of the towns that has riots going on, or did have riots going on. Stay safe. Don't go out there and just think, oh, I can do whatever I want without, getting hurt or whatever. And you may not like cops, but just know, if you go up to a cop and you spit in his face, you hit him, you do whatever, that cop could hit you. He will protect himself if he feels like he's in danger. So stay safe. I would advise stay home if you live in an area that is really being rioted. Stay home. Don't go into work. Your boss will understand, especially in this time.
God, isn't it amazing that this is the second time, for a completely different reason, that we're saying stay home?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're having.
You know what I mean?
It's just.
It's absolutely. It's
cyclical.
it's cyclical, and it's really fascinating. I mean,
It's crazy.
there's been the jokes and the memes of what else can get worse with 2020, but shit. I mean, somebody posted down below, where the zombies at? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
What the hell
The
else is gonna happen?
zombie apocalypse would seem calm. At least we're all on the same page with that one.
Guys,
Exactly.
Because
Aliens or zombies? Bring one of them so we can all get back together.
we found
I'm
out
gonna pretend like it's November here. Let's all go around the room and say something that we're thankful for. All right?
Hey, I like
Alan,
that.
we'll start with you. What are you thankful for?
I like that. You know what I'm thankful for? Because all this stuff about the separation and that we can't, a certain group of people can't understand another group of people's struggle. Nikki, you said we're all humans and we all understand the same things. We all understand the same universal truths. The only difference is maybe the color of our skin or the color of our eyes, or that's it. Even if I grew up in a very poor, horrible neighborhood, but I didn't turn out to be a drug dealer, or I didn't turn out to be a thief or a murderer or anything like that. Because of heroes, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, there's certain things that were very important about messages about, do what's best for your community. Keep your community strong. And so what I tried to do after my post that Maddie sent to me, saying, hey, man, I'm with you, brother. I'm sorry all these people were giving you grief. I tried to post another thing that was positive. And there is, in the Ahupua'a, which is the land division system that the ancient Hawaiians created here on the islands. And it's an absolutely beautiful thing. I'm a guy from Indiana, but I'm here teaching those things to young Hawaiian children that live in a city that won't get to touch land in a way that their ancestors did. And I'm blessed and fortunate enough to be able to bridge that gap. I know what this is, and I can teach kids what this is and the importance of this and how this made food for thousands of people. This is a pohaku kui'ai. This is what pounds kalo into poi traditionally, right? So and so I'm very grateful and blessed that I get the opportunity to do that, and I'm so thankful. And I never try to front that say that, I'm Hawaiian and I know all this. No, I had to learn all this stuff, but I learned all this because it's so important and it's such an amazing way of life. to create. It's all about creation and using your resources to create. I have an ulu, which is a breadfruit that I planted that ulu tree 3 years ago, and in the same area in the Ahupu'a of Hakipu'u where the first ulu tree planted on this island was ever planted.
That's
The
very
history of that is,
Good.
and I'm grateful for that because
You're not from
you know, I
Mandalore,
understand
but
the
you're
history,
Mandalorian.
right? And yes,
Same thing.
it's kind of that thing.
I'm saying we can
It's
learn lessons from these things.
we can learn lessons from each other. We can embrace what's beautiful about every single culture, every single person, and worship, you know, the fact that we all can understand these truths. We can all understand and grow and learn and create instead of destroy. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity to create, and I want to pass that on to other people. Create, because that's what's beautiful.
So we'll
that's
do
what I'm
everything.
thankful for.
Maddie, what are you thankful for?
Okay. Honestly, I'm thankful for the six of you, the platform that we got.
Yeah, 6.
You know, life kind of is hard for everybody right now. Like I said earlier, my 10-year-old looked at me and said, "Should he be worried?" We got pulled over a couple days ago, and he got a little worried, and you know, because I mean, the cop walked up and he had his hand on his gun, and he explained to us that, you know, he doesn't know what we're doing in the car. It's a safety thing for him, and I understand that.
Easily put your hand on a taser.
Yeah, he could have, but it's the fact that I get to spend a couple hours a week with people that I consider family. You know, we get to have fun. You know, for a little while, the kid was in here with us, and he went to bed. But I get to, you know, spend some time, and like Alan, you were saying earlier, I get to let my creative juices flow, and we get to be creative and have fun together, and it's beautiful that, you know, we can all sit around and, you know, whether it's movies or TV or hell, listening to Nikki, you know, talk his possibly, you know, Bernie Sanders and Jar Jar Binks to you know, giving Matt a hard time. You know, so, you know, I'm thankful the fact that we have this platform that we could just have fun. You know, we could bring a little light to this kind of dark world, especially the fact that, you know, we've all been in our own form of lockdown. Like we're opening back up and things are trying to get back to normal.
Yeah,
but we can all still, you know, come together. We're going live for 2 hours now. We spent the first hour laughing with, you know, Adam and talking about, you know, HBO finally releasing this. You know, we got to laugh about that. We got to get a little deep. So I'm just thankful for the fact that, you know, I have friends that I know I can rely on.
Yeah.
All I have to do is go, guys. We're, you know, like next weekend. I'm gonna jump back to next weekend. I'll do it now. You know, next week we're welcoming back, you know, part 2 of our Arcada Silvis tour. You know, the family and Taryn will be back because right now Taryn is doing his Arcada Silvis.
He's doing his experience.
Yeah. It's so. Like when we're done here, I have to jump over there and possibly jump into their live stream because on their panel, because, you know, a friend of mine's going through that, a friend of our channel. So the fact that, I mean, our last video is pushing over 200 views. That doesn't really happen in our channel.
Hopefully we get more tonight.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm thankful that Matt and Subrath gave me the opportunity to build this show. The first couple of episodes were hard. They weren't what I wanted it to be. Matt and I talked about it behind the scenes. It wasn't what I wanted it to be. It was, honestly, it was Doug and Jay just going off the walls.
So what you're saying is I was the game changer, me and Devin. Soundboard.
Maybe.
I'm thankful that you let me do this soundboard bullshit. Like, because that's just one of the things that I'm good at.
But it's cool. Like I said,
That's fun.
When I start this chat, when I started chat for next week, actually, we'll just continue the one we had. Before I get the guests and everything, I have the people on the background already there. And I know if real life doesn't happen, Alan, you know what? Like I said, brother, real life happens. But I know that even if for some reason, like when I got sick, you guys took over the show. And I know that we've built something here that's thriving. And
So, Devin, what are you thankful for?
Well, fuck you. I wasn't done, but
Well, it's like the Oscar playoff song.
No, but honestly,
He's got a soundboard. He's got to have it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Maddie. We thank you.
You're a liar.
For sure, Maddie.
All right, so Devin.
What are you thankful for?
I think he's thankful for that veto button now. That's what
I think he is. I think he is.
There we go.
I guess he'll do that Friday.
He plays him off right before he starts.
You're thankful for the Macho Man's
oh yeah
entrance music.
Oh yeah, brother.
Graduation.
I do not remember you saying.
So anyway,
at all.
so Devin, what are you grateful for? What are you thankful for?
Grateful for being out of high school.
Or do you hate me for bringing you here?
Guess I'm thankful that I have fuck ton of people to talk to.
Cool.
Like you guys, there's like a bunch of people on here that
He reached into his pocket. I think I pulled a gun or something.
That would have been the third short turn this podcast took.
Let him say what he needs to say. He needs to speak his piece.
Now he's going to go fuck yourself.
So what are you doing? I'm the only one that's talking. So beer.
Hooray, beer!
What are you thankful for?
I'm first off thankful that finally we no longer have to talk about this stupid release of Snyder Cut shit. Because it's done. It's over. It's over.
Kill you.
It's like finally we have an answer. Happy now? This thing's coming out. Now shut up about it. You know, no, but in all seriousness, even though it's kind of a weird thing to say, with how this year has been and some of the other years in the past have been, last 2 years, not really good years in a sense as far as events that's happened in the world and whatnot. But no, seriously though, I am thankful to live in a time where we have the internet available to where we can learn not just about what's in this country, but we can actually learn about other, countries, other traditions, what people in, I don't know, say Greenland. I don't think anybody, but if people live in Greenland,
why?
We learn about what they do. Like I know Subrath now, so I mean, we know. Like we can learn about things that happen in Indonesia. We can learn about what it's like to be in, all these places. So, having things like that, being able to connect with people outside of, our little areas. Because I'll tell you right now, if there was no internet living in this area, I'd be talking to nobody. I'd be looking at my wall, dreaming about one day being the next George Lucas, which is never going to happen. But we got the internet, so it opens up more opportunities, not just for people. It's like I want to be in the Schmodown or whatever, because it opens that opportunity up, obviously. But it opens up opportunities for people to become filmmakers, because who knows if, like David F. Sandberg, directed Lights Out, if he didn't have an opportunity to make his short film and have it out there, we probably wouldn't have, him.
And now Shazam.
Shazam be different.
I'm gonna CGI that later.
But yeah, I'm thankful for that. And then also, I know it's a been a heavy 30 minutes talking about all this stuff.
It's okay.
And I'll be a little honest but harsh. No, not really harsh, but I'll be honest. You want to know how we end racism, everybody? Simple. Stop addressing people as black. Just stop addressing people as white. Stop addressing people as brown.
Don't eat bats.
People. You guys are men. We'll address you as men. I'll say, my aunt is married to a black man.
You don't know when you hear their name.
But if you say, she's married to this man instead of this black man, if we stop addressing people by the color of their skin, and we stop having people who have thoughts in the back of their head of when they see a black man of, he's a criminal, he stole, or seeing a Mexican and going, he obviously got snuck into the country, he shouldn't be here legally. Seeing a Muslim family and saying, not having a thought of, they're probably terrorists. And then, people seeing white people and going, they're racist, or they're privileged. As soon as we get past that mindset and we all just look at each other as human beings, and honestly, we live in a time where that is going to start coming at some point. As soon as our generations are gone, we're going to have those people coming in. That's when racism ends. Until then, it's always going to be there, no matter how big or small it is. You get rid of those terms, just address each other by sir, ma'am, or whatever you identify as, then we can move on. Let's stop saying he's the first African-American director to direct this. Instead of saying that, be like, he's directing this.
So judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. I think I heard that somewhere from somebody.
I know.
Right? Yeah, that sounds familiar.
It's like this
I don't know where I heard that from.
Decades.
Aaron, you moved up top somehow. I don't know if Maddie picked me up for a second, but we covered the top row. We got everybody in the top row. Then you moved up there. What are you thankful for, Aaron? Sorry, Maddie, if I hijacked the show with my Thanksgiving, but I want turkey, God damn it. I don't have it, and I don't like turkey, but I'll have mashed potatoes.
All right, let Aaron sit and then Kevin so we can rock, because I'm hungry too.
No, Aaron.
Okay, I'll
6 o'clock tonight.
I'll try and be brief with this. I would say on a personal level, I would say I'm thankful for the way that my parents raised me from a very young age. I had exposure to a lot of different people, to a lot of different cultures, a lot of different, I guess, colored type people. I had exposure to gay people from a young age. I had exposure to trans people from a young age. And I was raised to believe that people are people, which is exactly what Matt said. So in my head, thankfully, I try not to have that type of prejudice because that's not how I was raised to believe. I judge everyone at, not face value, but deeper than that. And it's based on who they are. And I don't think without my parents and the way they raised me, I would necessarily be that way because that's not the way the culture always wants to raise people to believe. I would also say on a more scale on this, and this is something that I've said to Matt personally, and I'll go into it real quick, but I'm thankful for all of you guys. So for anyone watching this who doesn't actually know who I am, 3 years ago or something, I helped create this with Matt and Subrath, like this channel, Movie Battleground. I helped create this. March of last year, I stepped away because my own personal life made it to a point where I was too busy to actually be a good leader with them to lead this forward. And in the 14 months since I've left, the amount that these guys have expanded is far beyond anything that I could have ever personally imagined. The fact that there's 5 consecutive leagues running at the same time, that you have 3 different weekly podcasts going up, the fact that you got, back in the day, the closest connection that we could ever come to the Schmodown was I played in the fan leagues when it was actually called the Fan Movie Trivia Schmodown. And now you guys are consistently getting people that are involved in it on the show to talk to, and people can see they're just normal people. Like, it's that type of conversational thing. And, on another level, people who are in the Schmodown now, like the thing that everyone aspires to want to be a part of, I was friends with. I know Chance Ellison. I worked with Robert Parker. He was a part of Movie Battleground, and now they're up there. And it's just, for me to come back to this now and hopefully get myself more involved than I already am. And tonight's been amazing to be here and be a part of this. I'm thankful for all of you guys because you guys have taken something that I was passionate about for a long time and felt for a long time that I let down in a certain way and pushed it further than I could have ever imagined. And that is something that is truly amazing to have seen.
Cool.
I'm sure you are.
I'm so
Aaron, I think this is the maybe first or second time. I think I may have been on like judging with you at one point. At some point, maybe I may be misremembering, but like this is the first time I've gotten to talk to you, and I'm thankful for that personally. So rounding out Thanksgiving, Kevin,
Big Kevin,
what are you thankful for?
No pressure. No, I'm just kidding.
There's a ton of pressure.
Yeah. Broad spectrum. Broad spectrum. I'm thankful for the community as a whole, family community. I'm glad I stumbled upon this crazy place in October of last year. I met a ton of awesome people. You guys have helped me in down times. Just like last week when my mom had a heart attack, I mean, I had over 100 comments that, messages, people that lifted me up and, kept me sane basically. And on a smaller level, a more personal level, I'm thankful for a young man that I take care of. He's blind and autistic, and he really teaches me something about the world. He doesn't judge based on anything. He's never seen anything. He's never judged. He doesn't judge anybody based on the color of their skin or the if they're gay or straight or trans or anything like that. He judges you just how you treat him, and that speaks to me on a really deep level, and I'm thankful for that. And I think a lot of people could learn from that. So definitely on a personal level, but yeah, on a grandiose level, I'm really thankful for this great community that I've stumbled into. I love you guys.
Oh, love you, brother.
Evan, that was beautiful.
That was. All of it was beautiful.
Sorry, I don't want to be fucking with toys here. I'm just trying to like make everybody.
No, it's great.
Yeah, no, so the question
we can all fuck with toys.
Plankton, my God,
hey, save fucking with toys for when we teach them sex education.
Yeah.
Don't do it. But F is for friends who do stuff together. U
That's right.
is for
For you and me.
N is for no survivors.
No survivors.
Nuclear bomb.
You guys give me something to do on a Saturday night. I used to go to bed at like 9 o'clock on Saturday nights. Now I get to stay up with you guys and make noise and make little like belt buckles and make all kinds of cool stuff. So I don't know how I got into like interviewing Schmodown competitors, but I'm thankful for it. So, I told my dad, like, I interviewed Video Drew while he was in Florida, and he was like, "What?
What?" and during that whole time, I was going, "What?" Video Drew is awesome.
That was great. That was a fun couple hours.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was him in Florida. But yeah, I'm just thankful for doing this, and we got pretty heavy tonight. But
I was gonna mention on that fact. So who's gonna write the disclaimer? Because I don't want somebody to click on this and think it's all just an interview with Adam.
Just an interview with Adam the whole time.
Right.
I think
somebody jumps in.
I'll update or Subrath can update it later.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna be the first one to jump out because I gotta go eat dinner with the kids.
Where can people find you, real quick, brother?
You can find me on here. You can find me, well, not on Facebook for a while. I'm off there. But if you want to follow Instagram, Hammerhead Allen, because that was my old pirate character name, because I ran a pirate cruise here in Hawaii. Nice. Yeah, that was a whole other story we'll talk about one day. We'll talk about that one another time. But I really appreciate you guys. I got a little emotional tonight, and I appreciate you guys hanging in there, and always appreciate everybody. Welcome back, Aaron, from a long absence. But I appreciate all you guys. Yeah, I appreciate all you guys always being here and bringing light and fun and camaraderie and unity, which is sorely needed in the world right now, obviously. So I'm glad that we can all do that and connect. So mahalo nui, guys. I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much.
All right, brother. We'll talk
See
to you.
ya.
All right.
So, all right, let's go with the new people that just came up to the top. Aaron, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Aaron T. Canole, and hopefully in more videos soon.
All right, Mr. Kevin Poss, where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Kevin Poss, Twitter at Kevin J. Poss. My letterbox is the same thing, Kevin J. Poss. I haven't updated that in a while, but I'm trying to get back on it. And I'm all over TMG, either competing or hosting or judging. So yeah.
All right, we'll go down below me. Mandos.
Devin, what do you want?
I can say that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle that G you flashed earlier, from the fingers and the face, I can tell you that it's Leonardo from the 2012 animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series.
It is. Nick,
And, find us on Nikki Books if we end up doing videos for that, if we find time. We want to launch like the Death Watch show, Nikki Flicks Live, all these different shows. It's really about like if I can get good furniture that I can sit in for a long time. This is the longest I've sat for a while, guys. You provide stimulating conversation for me, and I'm thankful for that. Like I said before, and yeah, this is the way. Find us on TMG Entertainment, doing this every Saturday night, and I'll turn it over to Beer.
yay, beer!
I don't have it ready. Hold on a second, Beer. Don't say
Here. And guess what?
Don't say anything.
What?
Wait for it. Wait for it.
I can't hear you with that pity dick in your mouth.
What?
That's not it.
Isn't it on a different slate?
It doesn't sound like we need to educate him at all.
Whoa. I got it.
Hooray, beer!
There you go, Beer. Take it away.
There it is.
All right. You guys can find me on this channel, of course. I am not active on Twitter, so I would advise you not to find me on Twitter. Same thing with Instagram. I would advise you not to follow me on Instagram because I'm not on Instagram.
He's not lying. I follow him.
Yeah,
Follow him on
anything
TikTok
you
though.
want. Follow me
Yes.
on TikTok. As I post memes, I will piss people off. I will not add you as a friend on Facebook, so don't find me there. And unfortunately, Inside the Horseshoe will be back, but it will be back closer to NFL season. I know you guys are so sad about that. So yeah, we won't have that back until July, before preseason. Kind of talking about all the other teams and whatnot before. So if you're looking forward to that, you're gonna have to wait another month before I do an episode. And yeah.
Hooray, beer!
All right, so I'll wrap it up. I'm Matty G. You can find me at Facebook at Matt Graham. You can find me right here on TMG. I am the Game Zone Commissioner.
Oh yeah.
We just crowned a new champion because we had some scheduling issues. That champion will be back next week to bring up his Kata Silvas tour. Also, Thursday nights at this time, I run Suplex City Chats. That's a show all about wrestling. So keep a lookout for that. Again, next week is part 2 to our Kata Silvas tour takeover from everybody here. Good night.
This is the way.